We'll continue with the implementation of linear regression today. In the last session, we understood what linear regression is as a concept. As a statistical algorithm, how it is used to analyze the data, that's something we understood in the last session. In today's session, we are going to implement that using Python as a programming language. That is, you are going to absorb data, that is, take the data in the data set, and you're going to apply this algorithm with the help of a library on the data so that you're able to analyze insights coming out of it. That's what we call it as a model. Remember in the last session, I told you what a model is? Model is equal to generic algorithm plus specific data set. So generic algorithm here is linear regression. Data set is something which you are going to pull it in, which will be very specific. And for that data set, we are deriving insights with the help of the generic algorithm. Okay, keep this in mind while going through this notebook. Okay, back to you, Aditi.
Yes, sir. Friends, I hope that you all have downloaded this notebook and you have opened it up on your systems. So we can, you can parallelly run your programs with me. Okay. So do you need a couple of minutes to do that, or have you guys already done that? So open this notebook and also load your data set. This is the data set which I had sent in the WhatsApp group also. So just load it, upload it in your directory. So kindly do that. So have you already done that, or you need a couple of minutes? Can anyone respond on the group, on the chat? Can we begin, guys? Are you ready? Okay, got the confirmation. Okay. So let's begin. So in the last session, we have learned about the concept of linear regression. So I hope that all of you have understood when do we use linear regression and what kind of data is required, like which is the data on which we can apply linear regression. Okay, so in the last class also we have studied that we need to have the continuous variable, continuous kind of a data as our output variable in order to apply linear regression. Okay, so whenever you have to predict some output, some outcome which is continuous in nature, you might want to think about applying linear regression. Okay, so now today we will learn uh, how can we apply or build our linear regression model in Python. Okay, so first we will import the required libraries. So we will require pandas, numpy, matplotlib. So these are the libraries which we have learned, and we are going to import them and use them. And this is our salary data, which we will be using in order to apply our linear regression model. Okay, so I'm importing this. If your salary data is located in some particular drive or folder, then you should also provide provide that path over here. Okay, so we have learned how to do this, and if you don't know, you can just quickly Google it out. So you can do that and add the path for your file over here. Okay, and if you have already uploaded your data set in the Jupyter notebook, mean, you can just write the name as I have written and just load it. Okay. So we will check the shape. So here you see we got 30,2. So we have 30 rows and 2 columns. Okay, we have 30 rows in our data set and 2 columns. And this is how our data set looks like. So we have 2 columns, years of experience and salary, right? And what we are trying to estimate is the salary. So what will be the salary given you have a particular years of experience? Okay, so we are trying to predict that if someone has so many years of experience, then what could be his salary? Okay, so we are trying to estimate the salary, right? So here we will check for some missing values using this df.info function. So here you can see that we had seen that we have 30 rows, and here both years and salary also has 30 entries, 30 non-null entries. So this means that we do not have any missing values in this data set, right? So we need not do any type of imputations or anything with this regards, okay, because our data is complete. Nothing is missing in our data set. And then again, we will use this describe function in order to get some, some statistical information about our years of experience and salary columns. So the mean years of experience is 5.3 years and mean salary is 76,000, right? Maximum years of experience in our data set is 10.5 years and maximum salary is 1,22,000, right? And minimum years of experience is 1.1 years and the minimum salary is 37,000. So this is so using this describe function, as we had already seen, we could have, we could get to know how is our data. We could have the general statistical information about our data, right? So now let me ask you a question over here now, that you have understood what is the problem that we are trying to solve using this linear regression, right? Have you understood this? If yes, then can you tell me which is our independent variable out of years of experience and salary? Which is our independent variable and dependent variable, right? So can somebody just tell their answers in the group chat? Which is our independent variable out of years of experience and salary? Right, Jennifer ma'am is right. Salary is our dependent variable because we are trying to estimate that, and years of experience is our independent variable, right? So I hope you have understood the difference. So whatever variable that we are trying to estimate using our model is the dependent variable, DEP, dependent, right? And years of experience is the input variable for based on which we are trying to estimate salary. So years of experience becomes our independent variable, right? So let's move forward now. Now we will visualize and try to understand the relationships between our two variables. Okay, so here I'm using the I'm going to use the scatter plot to do that. Okay, so on the x-axis I will have my input variable, which is the years of experience, and on the y-axis I will have my salary. That is my output variable or the target variable, right? And then I'm just adding my labels, x label, y label, right? And then we will use this plt.show to get the graph. So this is the graph that we get. So see over here, you can observe that this is the linear relationship that we are getting, right? Okay, this is more or less very linear and strong relationship between salary and years of experience. Correct? So this is the positive relationship or positive correlation between salary and years of experience, right? So this is how graphically we can understand the relationships between our variables. Now, since here we had just two variables, we are just using, just plotting one graph. But when you have multiple variables, you should ideally check this relationship for each that is your input variable and output variable. So each such pair you should get or check your relationship, right? And then we had also discussed in the last class that this correlation can be checked, one by using graph, that is graphical method, by plotting the scatter plot, and second is by getting the correlation coefficient, right? So correlation coefficient will tell us how strong or weak the relationship between two variables is. Okay. So we can use two methods to do this. So first one is using the NumPy library. So in NumPy, we have this function for coef, that is correlation coefficient. Okay, and we will pass our two variables. So our two variables is years of experience and salary, right? So we will access this from our data frame and then pass it inside this function, right? So run this and you will see that this is the correlation that we are getting. So this is actually a array that we are getting as the output. So here you can see that it is actually years of experience, salary, and years of experience, salary. It is like a matrix over here. Okay, so 1 is actually the correlation with years of experience with years of experience. Okay, so that should be, obviously it should be 1, right? Because we are getting the correlation for correlation between correlation for that same variable with respect to it, that variable only, right? I hope you're understanding this. So this is actually years of experience versus years of experience only. Similarly, this is salary versus salary. This is the correlation between salary and salary. Okay, so you do not have to these are not so important, but this value over here, this is very important. So this is the correlation between years of experience and our salary, right? Years of experience and salary. So here you can see that it is very strong. It is 0.97, and we had seen that anything above 0.8 is very strong correlation, right? So this is very strong correlation relationship. And had this been negative value over here, okay, so here we are getting positive, right? But had this been negative value, so we would say that there is strong negative correlation, which means that now here, if you can see, as the number of years increases, the salary also increases, right? This is what we can infer from this graph. But in case of negative correlationship, it would be like, as years of experience increase, salary would decrease. Okay, so it will be like a downward sloping line that we would get. Okay, so the trend would be downward. Here it is upward. Okay, it is upward, but the but in case of negative correlation, we will get the downward sloping line, right? So yeah, so this is about correlation. And also you can use .cor function from the pandas to get the same result. So here again, you see that we get this. So the correlationship between years of experience and salary is 0.978, right? So this is how you can actually first check which are the features that you want to select in building your model. Okay, so had this correlation be very low, let's say 0.2, right? So there was no point in using this feature or this variable years of experience in order to predict our salary, because there is no correlation, right? So we had seen the assumption of linear regression is that that we should have strong linear relationship. We should have linear relationship between our input and output variable, right? So if this is not justified over using this correlation value, then there is no point in actually selecting that variable in our modeling, right? So you should ideally, in case you have like so many variables, if you have, and if you find that some variables are not having great or are having very weak correlation, then you should actually ideally drop these variables. You should not use them in your modeling, right? So here we can establish that we can say that there exists a strong correlation between salary and experience by this value, as well as by analyzing this graph scatter plot, right? So this is also known as bivariate analysis, right? So we are using two variables in our analysis over here. So this is bivariate analysis. You can also do the univariate analysis. Okay, so this univariate will involve only one variable for the analysis. So here we are doing some univariate analysis. So we are first plotting the histogram for years of experience to see how is the distribution. So here you can see that that most highest frequency is for years between 2.5 and 4.5, okay, or 3 to 5 more precisely. Okay, so 3 to 5 has highest number of uh, you know experience in our data set. Okay, so this you can check. Then again, salary also we are using the histogram, we are plotting histogram, right? So this is how you should do your exploratory data analysis to understand your variables better, your the relationship between the variables better, right? So any doubt till now? Any doubt till now? This is all about the exploratory data analysis that we should do before we start modeling, right? So since this example that we have taken is very small and consists only two columns, right? So that's why the exploratory data analysis is small over here. But with huge data sets, exploratory data analysis is very huge. Like you have to plot many graphs. You have to check various relationships between the variables, right? So it should be exhaustive with very large data sets. But since it is very small data set for us today, we are just limiting our exploratory data analysis up till here. So any doubt up till now? Any questions that you have? Kindly ask. I'm just waiting here for some confirmation if you have understood everything, or if you have any doubts you can ask. Okay, Vishnu says no doubts. Anybody else? Anyone has doubts? Everything is clear. So let's move forward then, if you have no doubts. Okay, So after you have done your exploratory data analysis and you have selected which are your input variables that you're going to use, and you have identified your output variable, now is the time to create or separate your input and output variables, right? So so we have this data frame, right, which has years of experience and salary. So salary is our output variable and years of experience is our input variable. Now we will create new data frame for each of these input and output variables, right? So here I'm saying X is my input variable, okay, and it will contain the years of experience, right? Work experience it will have, because work experience is our input variable, correct? So I am using this in order to uh, get this column from my data frame df, and I'm creating a new data frame over here X, which is our input variable, right? And similarly our output variable is salary. So I'm just taking this column out of our df data frame, and I will store it as y, okay, which is the output or target variable, correct? So I will run this and might as well show you X and Y. So here you see X is our years of experience that we have got, and Y is our salary. Okay, so now we have created or we have separated our input variables and output variables, right? This is the common step which will be done in all of the algorithms that we will have a look at, right? So in even logistic regression you will do this, in even other algorithms that you will learn, you will be doing this step, correct? So is this understood? We have to first separate our input variables and output variables. Now here, since we have just one input variable, so here we have just one column, right, in our input variable. But had there been more than one variables, okay, in case of multiple regression, right, so we would have included that also, correct? So let's say years of experience and say some other variable. Let's say the type of or the tire of the college, like tier 1, tier 2, whatever is the tire of the college. So if we had these two variables, we would have included those in our X, okay, in X data frame, right? So basically X is our input variable data frame. It will have all of the input variables, right? And Y is our output variable data frame, correct? Now let's now create our model, linear regression model. So creating a model is very easy in Python. You just have to use this sklearn library, right? This is a library that is very famous, very popular for machine learning. So it has all of these machine learning algorithms in it, right? So we are going to use this sklearn library, and from that library we are going to import two functions. So first one is the train test split, and second one is the linear regression, right? We are going to import these two from the sklearn library, correct? So let me run this, right? And now we are going to create our testing data frame, data set, and the training data set, right? So we have discussed it last time also that that we need two kinds of data sets. I mean, not kind, but we need to divide our data set into two parts. One will be the training data set and the another will be the testing data set. Okay, so the training data set will be the major chunk from our data set. Okay, and that we will use for training our model. And by training, I mean that that data set will be used in order to create our model, right? The model will learn from this data set, from the training data set, right? And the testing data set, which is the other half that we will make that will make out of our main data frame. So that other part will be used in order to test, right? We will test on that particular data that how our model is working, right? So these data set this testing data set will be a new data set kind of a thing for our model, and we will use our model to predict the values of our outcome of our output variable from this data set, from this test data set, right? So have you guys understood what is training and testing data set? Can you please quickly give me a confirmation that you have understood, because this is a very important concept, right? And you will see that this is kind of a common thing that we do for all of the machine learning algorithms, right? For all of the models. So we will be having two data set. We'll be splitting our data set into two parts. One will be training, which will be used for the training of our model, and second will be the testing data set, which we will be using for purpose, right? Okay, so let's move forward, right? So this is the function that we will be using in order to split our data, in order to divide our data into training and testing data set, right? So here you will see we have to provide our input variable data set, then the output variable, right? And here is the parameter which is underscore size, which is actually the proportion in which you want to make the split. So here I am saying that test size should be 0.3. This means that my testing size or my test data should be 30% of the total data set that I have. Correct? So this is how it will, and you can change this, right? You can have 0.25, 0.3, okay? But the major portion of your data set will be required in order to train your data set. So your training data set should have more percentage of your data, right? So here testing data is 0.3, that is 30%, which means that your testing data, which means your training data set is 70% of your entire total data set, right? And then this is something, a random state is equal to 100. Now, this train test split function, it will randomly, randomly it will divide your data into the proportion that you have given, that is 70-30 in this case, right? It will randomly take the rows, right? It will be not like just the first out of 100 columns, 100 rows that you have, the first 70 will be your training and the last 30 will be your testing. It will be not like that. It will take random rows in order to create the testing and training data set, right? So in order to get the same set of the training and testing data set, we specify over here something known as random state. So this is nothing but just the value, right? You can give any value, let's say 100 or anything. You can give any value over here, right? So so why we actually do this is to get, so every time we run this kind of code, we will get the same distribution, or we will get the same split of training and testing data set, right? If let's say you would not have given this parameter, huh? So what will happen that every time you run this code, you will get a new set of training and testing, right? So every time you run this, it will randomly generate generate uh, different. It will randomly generate different different data set every time. Okay, so in order to get the same kind of data set, that is uh, same testing and training data set, we use this random state. Okay, so let us run this, and now here we have created xtrain. Xtrain means that our x, which is our input variable, that we have divided into training and testing. Similarly, we have this y, which is our output variable. We have again divided it into training and testing, right? So these are the four parameters or the four data sets that we get out of these by using this function, train, test, split, right? So now let's check our shape of the X test, that is testing data set. So here you will see we got 9 rows. So do you remember how many rows we had in our actual data set? See over here, we had 30 rows, right? We had 30 rows in our total data set. And here we had provided that we should have 30% of our data in our testing data set. So 30% of 30% of 30 is 9, right? 30% of 30 is 9. So we got 9 rows in our testing data set. And can anybody guess how many rows we will have in our training data set? Can somebody just quickly put that in chat? How many rows we will have in our training data set? Correct. So 70% of 30, which is 21, right? So here you can see we have got 21, and 1 is the number of columns, right? Since we have just one column in both our training and in our training in our input variable data set, right? We had just one column over there, which is the years of experience. So that's why we have just one over here, right? So now that we have divided our data into training and testing data set, the next step is to build our model. So this is just one line code over here. Okay, just in one line, your model will be ready. So here, so this linear regression, this class we had imported over here, right? So this we had imported from the sklearn library, linear regression class, and then we will use this fit function. Okay, and inside fit function we will provide our training data set. So what is our training? X train and Y train. Okay, so X is our input variable in the training data set, and Y train is our output variable in the training data set, right? So just run this and your model is created. Okay, your model is created. It is just one line of code, right? And then you can check the accuracy of your model. and that we do by lr.score function, right? By lr.score function, you can check the accuracy, that how well was your model running. So basically what happens over here is that the predictions that your model makes, okay, that is the y predicted, which your model will predict, correct? Those values are compared with your actual values, right? So we had the salary column, if you remember, in our data set. So that is our actual values. Those values are actual values. But once our model is generated, we will also use we will predict these values. We will predict the salaries values, and then after comparison, okay, so this function dot score function, it will compare your predicted values with the actual values, and then it will give you this score, that is the accuracy. Okay, so here you will see that our model is 95%, almost 95% accurate in terms of predicting the salary values, right? So any doubts till up till now? Any doubts? Anyone, any doubts? Did you understand how did we divide our data set into training and testing, and then how we are creating our model? Can somebody give confirmation on the chat? Okay, Vigneshwari has understood. Okay, so there's one question. When I run LR, it just showing linear regression. Yeah, so did you get output like this? What I got over here, Jennifer ma'am? Okay, no.
I didn't get the ones which is there inside the brackets. I didn't know why. But the next step is running. I'm getting the accuracy score. But the previous step, it just shows linear regression and just two empty brackets. So there's nothing is there inside.
Actually, these are the these are just the what we say, the parameters that that the model has considered. So it's okay. Like it might not be showing in your case, but are you getting this code over here?
Yes, yeah, that I'm getting. That's why I was
Okay.
surprised how. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So that is not a problem. So your model has actually been created. Okay. So let's move forward to predictions. Now we had seen this equation last time, right? So this is the linear regression equation. Y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1x, right? This is our linear regression equation, similar to our similar to what we had the equation for the straight line, right? Y is equal to mx plus c. So this is the equation, and now here we know that y is the salary that we want to predict, right? And x is our input value, which is the years of experience. So using years of experience, we are trying to estimate what will be the salary. So by creating this model, what actually we have obtained are the values of B0 and B0, or the beta naught and beta 1, right? So these values are figured out by our model, beta 0 and beta 1. And how will it make predictions? So any value that you have, okay, of years of experience, it will just substitute that value in place of x over here, and then beta naught and beta 1, it has already figured out, right? then it will give you the y value. Okay. So do you understand? Are you able to understand this? So the y values will be the unknown value. So the x values over here will be the unknown values to our model, right? And what our model will do, that it will just substitute those values in x, and then it will calculate the y, because beta 0 and beta 1 it has already figured out. Right. So we will see one example how this works. So let's say, so first, before that, we will just find out what is the what is the value of these parameters right over here. Okay. So first, let us find what is the coefficient of this x, which is the right, which is also the slope of our regression line, right? So we will find out first what is B1, what is the value of B1 that our model has figured out. So that we do by using dot COEF, that is coefficient underscore, right? So this method we will be using in order to get our coefficient, this beta 1. Okay, so LR is the name of the model that we have given over here, right? LR is the name of the model. So we will write the name of the model dot this COEF underscore method in order to get our beta 1, right? So just run this and you will get 9731. So 9731 is the value of the slope of our line, or the coefficient of our input value, that is beta 1 value, right? Similarly, intercept underscore is the value of the intercept that we will get from our model. So beta 0 value, this is the beta 0 value. So we will run this, and this is the value that we got. So this beta 1 and beta 0 values, these are the values, that is 9731 and 25202. These two values have been figured out by our model, right? And now in order to predict the y values, we will just substitute the value of x over here, and then we will get the y value. So can you just help me and manually give me the answer of y when my x is, let's say, x is, let's say, 2. Okay, so years of experience is 2. So can you tell me what will be the value of what will be the salary that that person is getting when he has 2 years of experience? Okay, so kindly do the maths over here. You can also do that in Python. Okay, the calculation part, you can do that in Python and tell me the value quickly. So I'm waiting for your answers, okay? So did you get the question? What is the question? That you have to find out what will be the salary when you have 2 years of experience. Okay, based on our model that we have created. Anyone? All you have to do is substitute the value of x over here in this equation. So the value of x is 2 years. what I have said. 2 years. So substitute the value of x as 2 in this equation. Beta 0 and beta 1 values we know. So give me the value of y. Okay, 44664. One answer we got. Anybody else? Okay, so let me do that for you guys. So what we will do now, what is our beta 0 value? It is this, right? This is our beta 0 value. Okay, so according to this equation, beta 0 plus beta 1. What is the value of beta 1? 9731.20. Right? Multiplied by x. What is the value of x that we want, that we have? I said that it is 2, right? So 2. And then I will run this. And this is the value of y. Right? So this is how the predictions are made. Correct. So Jennifer and Vigneshwari got the answer. Okay, so let's move forward. Now this is how, so I hope that all of you have understood how the predictions are made, right? Only the new values are substituted in that, right? So whatever activity or whatever this we did over here manually, I have written a function for that over here. Okay, so what it will do, so it will first take the intercept value. Okay, so what is the intercept value? What is the intercept value? This is our intercept value, right? So beta 0 is the intercept. So it will first take the intercept value from our model and it will store in the variable known as intercept. Then it will again do the same thing for the coefficient and save it in the coefficient. And then it will calculate your prediction, that is y. So how it will calculate? It will calculate by this equation only. Y is equal to this equation, right? So here we are saying intercept plus exp into coefficient. Okay. So what is exp over here? Exp will be the experience value that based on what we want the salary to be calculated, right? So this is that value. So exp plus exp into coefficient, right? This is just the same. Yeah, over here. This is the same regression line equation that we are using. Okay. So I will create this function and now I'm using my X test. Okay, I'm just demonstrating this to you. You did not do this, okay? Actually, our model and everything has been created over here only. This is the end of the model. But in order to understand how our model is working, I'm trying to demonstrate this to you over here. Right, this is not the part of your modeling, right? This is just for the illustration, just for the understanding how our model is actually doing the things, right? So I'm passing over here in this function, I'm passing my X test. Okay, so remember we had created two data sets, testing and training. So now I will use my testing data set to get the predictions. Right, so I will take just the so 1:2 means just the one value like which is present at the first index position. right? I will just, for the sake of demonstrating it to you, I will just take one value and predict the value for that, right? So this is the prediction that we are getting, okay, for that one particular X value, okay? So this is how manually we can do it, but you did not do it manually, right? We have certain functions present with us in Python, by which you can get the output very easily. So you need not write your own functions and nothing. We already have function for this, which is lr.predict. Okay, so lr.predict function will give you the predicted value of salary. So run this. Now here I'm passing my all of my values present in my X test, okay, in this data frame. And if I want to, just to match that whether we are getting the same value or not, I'm here now, I'm using the predicted salary for the first position, right? Which should be equal to what we have got over here by writing our own equation. And see here, we are getting exactly the same value, right? So this is just for the demonstration of how predictions are made. So predictions are basically made by using this method over here, right? We have seen this, we have done this manually. So this is exactly what how predictions are made using this predict function, right? So any doubt up till now? Did you understand how predictions are made? Can I have a quick confirmation if you have understood? If you have not understood, then you can ask questions and your doubts. Did you understand how the predictions are made? Guys, we need to be a little, you need to respond. At least just give confirmation. Right. Okay. So let's move forward. Now, once our model has been created, the next step is to check the accuracy, right? So we should check the accuracy, and this is done to evaluate our model, like how well it is performing. Was it able to, get to predict values correctly or not? So all this evaluation we need to do once our model has been created. So
Aditi, just one
yeah,
minute.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You said the predictions which you have written, you have shown it to us to make us understand how it predicts, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So can the same intercept value, no, the predicted salary, can it be obtained using the model? Can you show that? Without this prediction code, can we just get the same values from the model which we created?
Yeah, so actually this function, right? This is what we get from our sklearn library. So this function
Okay.
can be used to get the predicted salary, right? So this here function, actually this function I have just written to make all of us understand that
Okay.
how this function, how this predict function is actually working.
Okay.
So we did not write or run this particular function. So we only have to do this predict.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. So we were over here checking the accuracy of our model. So there are some metrics that we use in order to check this, okay, whether our model is performing well or not. Okay, you will actually want to have some metric, right, in order to measure the accuracy. So one such measure is the R square. Okay, R square is also known as the coefficient of determination, right? So the formula for R square is mathematically this: RSS upon RSS divided by TSS. So and all of these are actually we will look at these one by one now. Okay, TSS, SSC, and RSS. So all of these values are used in order to get the value of R square. Again, I'm again specifying over here that you need not do all of these that we are doing right now, right under this accuracy section. You did not do this. I'm just doing this in order to make you understand that how R square is calculated, right? We just have one simple function doing all of this. Okay, so all of this code, we have just one simple function doing all of this, but I want to make you understand how R square is actually calculated. So that's why I have written all of this. So let's get started. So first, what I will do, I will take my X train and I will create a dummy variable for calculations of this accuracy. So what I'm doing, I'm just taking my X train which we had created. Okay, and I'm saving it as X underscore dump. Right, so this was our training data set, right? It is the same data set basically, only I have you can say saved it as a new object over here. Okay, so so now you see we had predicted the values for these one, right? We had predicted salaries. So we can predict the salaries for this. We can do it over here also. Okay, so LR.predict will give you the predictions, okay, for these values of X. Okay, so for each value of X, it will put that value in our regression equation and get our value of Y. Okay, so this is how the model will calculate. Okay, you will see it over here now. I'm calculating these and I'm saving it as pred underscore sal, and I will add this spread underscore sal, that is these salaries, to my this data frame X dump, right? So, and I will just display some few rows. Now here you see that we have got this predictions. Okay, I have added that, I have created a new column pred underscore sal, and I have added my predictions over here. Okay, so these are the predictions that our model has made for these values of X. Okay, so these are basically the Y values which our model has predicted based on these values of X, right? And now I will also add to this data frame the actual values that we have, right? So we have actual values of salaries with us, right? Remember, recall, in our main data file, we have two columns: salary and my years of experience. So this column is what my model is predicting, but we already have the actual values. So this person, let's say person number 17, who has 5.3 years of experience, for him, we have predicted that he should have 76,000 as salary, but we already have the actual salary value for this person in our data set, right? So we will run this and we will add that. So here we are seeing, so actual salary value for this person number 17 is 83,000, but our model has predicted it to be 76,000, right? Correct. So here you can see there is some error, right? There is error. Our model has not, and it will never can predict the exact value. It is never possible, right? It is not possible, but there will always be some error, correct? Now in the next step, what I'm doing, I am calculating this error. Okay, this error, we call it as residual. Okay, so residual is nothing but the difference between the predicted salary and the actual salary. Okay, I'm doing this over here. See, salary, this column minus this column, correct? I'm using over here minus column, correct? So I will run this, and now you will see that we have got the difference of these two values, that is salary minus the predicted salary. So this is the error or the residual, correct? Now the next step is to square this error or this residual. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to square these. So can anybody tell me why I'm squaring my residuals? Anyone can guess why I'm squaring my residuals? Why is it that I'm squaring my residuals? Residual is nothing but the difference between my predicted salary and my actual salary. So why are we taking square in the next step? Any guesses? Any somebody would like to try it? Try answering that. No answers. Okay, let me tell you that. Now, just observe over here. We have got even the negative values as our error. So why are we getting negative values? Because basically, what we have predicted, what our model has predicted, is more than our salary, right? Over here, you can see salary. The actual salary value is less than what we have predicted. Okay, so that's why we are getting over a negative. Now we want to find what is the total error. Okay, so what should we be doing? That we should be adding all these values, right, to get what is the total error for all of these records. Uh, but since we have both negative and positive values in our residuals, it might nullify each other, correct? So the actual error that we have, it might not be true, correct? So you are seeing over here that here we have got 8333 as the error, minus 8333, and here we have got 6309. When I add these two, correct, so my actual error would reduce, right? Correct. So in order to remove this effect, that is the positive negative effect, and then thereby they thereby nullify each other, right? So in order to remove, or in order to control this, we are squaring all of these values. So what will happen? This negative value will go when we square it off, right? And then we could estimate what is the true total residual, correct? So this is the reason why we square our residuals. Okay, so in this we are squaring our residuals, and here we are getting the squared residuals. Okay, so this is basically the square of the residuals, and then we will add up these values. Okay, and we will actually take the mean of these values to get the total sum of squared residuals, right? So now we will see how we, so over here, if you go back to this, now we will see how, now we have seen we have seen RSS, right? We have seen RSS, which is the difference of predicted salary and the sorry, not RSS, ACC, sorry. So we have seen this, correct? We have seen this. How do we calculate SSE? SSC is the difference of actual salary and the predicted salary. So this we have seen. Now we will see next TSS. Okay, so what is TSS? TSS is the difference of the actual salary and the mean salary. So here we go. First, we will find what is the mean of the salary, the actual salary column that we have. Okay, so this is our mean of the actual salary. Okay, I'm creating a new column, mean salary, and I will add this value. Okay, this value 73071 to that column. See over here, I have created a new column and I have added the mean salary to that column. Correct? Mean, what is mean of this actual salary values? Right? Now we will calculate the errors. So this error is the difference between the actual salary and the mean of that salary column, right? We are trying to find the TSS value over here. So this I have created errors, and then again, like we have discussed, we will again square this errors to nullify the effect of positive and negative. So here you can see, I have first created my mean column, which has the mean of the salary column, correct? Then I have created this error column. So what is error? Error is nothing but the difference between salary and the mean salary. Okay, this is the error, and then we are squaring this error. Okay, now we find what is TSS. So what is TSS? TSS is nothing but the sum of the square errors. Okay, so I'm just using this sum function to get the total of my square errors. So this is the value of TSS that we are getting. Okay, this is the value of TSS that we are getting. So similarly, we will find SSE. SSE we have seen, it is the sum of the residuals, right? Which is nothing but the but the difference of the predicted salary and the actual salary, and then square of that difference. Okay, and then we are getting the total of this column, which is this. Okay, so once we have got TSS and SSE, now we will find R square. So how do we find R square? R square, for finding R square, we first find RSS. So RSS is nothing but the difference between TSS and SSE. Okay, so difference between these two is RSS. So we calculate that, and now we will divide RSS by TSS to get R square value. So this is our R square value. And now if you remember, we had got the same value when we use the LR.score function. So actually you need not do all of these, but just to understand how we come up with this R square value, how the Python comes up with this R square value, we have seen that over here. We have seen the mathematics over here. Okay, so this R square, so what we are getting, 99489. So go back, and here we over here see LR.score, we have got the same value, 94.89, which is close to 95% accuracy. Correct? So with this, we have come to an end. I have this assignment for you. I know that your notebook is not having this. I will share this on the group. So we have this Facebook data with us, right? For the last assignment also we had used that. So the same Facebook data we have, So first you will again check for the missing values and impute those with the appropriate values. You can actually do that in the continuation of the previous assignment that you did. Okay, so there you had handled this missing values, right? So after that step, you will create a linear regression model, okay, with interactions as your independent variable, that is the input variable, and your uh, and your like, we also have this like column with us in the data frame. So that column will be our dependent variable, or the output variable. Okay, so using this you will create your linear regression model, correct? And after that you will create your second linear regression model based on comment, share, and interactions. Now here we have three independent, or the input variables. Okay, three input variables. In the previous one we had just one, interactions, but in this we will have three input variables, and again like will be our output variable. So you have to apply this, create this model, and then you have to report your score. By score, I mean the accuracy score. Okay, so kindly try this out, and also use the random state as 1, and keep 75% data for training. So this you will be using where? In our train test split. So you will be using it over here. Okay, so random state will be 1 for your assignment, and test size will be, what will be the test size? Anybody can tell me what will be the test size? I have mentioned over here 75% is for training. So what will be your test size over here? What will you enter? Can anybody tell me? Point 2? No. You have to keep 75% for your training. So what will be your testing? 0.25, right? It will be 0.25. Okay, so guys, any doubts over here? Any doubts you have got in linear regression? We have come to an end of linear regression. Kindly try this out. I will share this over our chat also, and I will share this across the WhatsApp group also. So any doubts over here?